bitch, you know? It's really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean,
Mr. Son of a bitch.
His loyal. Yes, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again.
Anything to talk about. Kimmel was given each one of them was given a reset except for Seth. I didn't even know he was still on the air.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody did. Everyone's watching Forensic Files.
Yes.
No one's watching Seth.
One of the greatest shows ever.
Yeah, but these guys, they had opportunities to reset. Kimmel could have came back and tried to be funny again, or bring guests again, or show any kind of change, but they're really going to ride this out to the last drop. What are they going to do when he's gone?
Tyrus just took an unthinkable action. Hollywood is in shock after he went straight after Jimmy Kimmel. Because this matchup is blazing mayhem, the so-called king of late night may be having a rough night. Nobody saw this clash coming, yet everyone is glued to the screen. The comedian who used to be a powerhouse is hurling verbal grenades at the man who finds his own jokes the most hilarious. You can almost feel the tension building, like a verbal altercation that is going to blow the roof off. How could Kimmel have provoked such a rage? And why does Tyrus seem like he could face Hollywood head-on?
It's not the party. It's not the majority. It's the loud voices that scare people from saying what they believe and make you think twice about a joke or whatever, these things. And, a lot of their points are valid, but a lot of them are also just repulsive. And I mean, they repel people from, they go like, oh, you're no fun. I don't want to be around you.
Tyrus has done it again. His words have become pure force. He used to slam opponents in the ring, but now he hits just as hard with verbal blows. With microphones in place of muscles, it's similar to WrestleMania Reborn. A noisy showboat wearing spandex isn't his current target, and every phrase lands like a knockout punch. It is something far more sensitive. Even after exchanging ropes for a spotlight, Tyrus continues to tremble the earth beneath him. It seems impossible to stop his transformation from warrior to truth slinger, like a tempest tearing through late-night television.
Are they going to be with Rosie O'Donnell in a four-way Zoom podcast about Trump ruining their life still?
I'm glad you didn't stop at four-way. Although in my head I can see
it. Come on, man. My mouth was open.
And who is brave enough to confront him now? Jimmy Kimmel, the self-proclaimed late-night prince of Hollywood, is the one. This is the guy who hides behind cards like shields and thinks moral lectures are hilarious. For all the wrong reasons, Kimmel, the jester who built a living by making fun of other people, is now unable to escape the spotlight. Instead of being the punchline, he's accustomed to making jokes. However, now that the stage has been turned, he is the center of attention. The contrast is electric. The ring's mayhem and the consolation of applause were where one man acquired his scars. Additionally, that ease is beginning to erode.
I have one ex-wife. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, you.
I had some scruples. Okay. I'll have one night stands, but I will not marry people I don't love. Okay. There's certain lines there.
You can't teach this cracker that.
And for some reason, this conflict seems so unfairly biased. Tyrus, a formidable figure shaped by hardship and practical experience, is positioned at one end, retaining the composed assurance that can only be gained by enduring true chaos. He has faced challenges that most people couldn't handle in both locker rooms and live studios, and he has always emerged stronger. The other is Jimmy Kimmel, who once sobbed live on television and referred to it as journalism. It is completely out of sync, ego polished against raw power. The unbalanced energy is like a heavyweight entering a ring against a monologue. Tyrus exudes ruggedness, honesty, and groundedness, the type that cannot be staged in ideal lighting conditions. Kimmel, meanwhile, conceals herself behind makeup, applause signs, and moral remarks that seem sensible until you pay attention.
I think if they're going to continue to do a podcast, they need to bring their writers in. Because that was brutal.
Terrible. They're out of touch.
It's like listening to two billionaires complaining about no one had change for their $100 bill at McDonald's.
The internet could smell anarchy from a great distance. This was going to be a full-scale conflict rather than a civil discussion. Shark-like crowds of fans gathered before the first punchline was even delivered. What began as a fight between two entertainers escalated into a full-on heavyweight fight where the goal was drama. Overnight, social media divided into opposing factions, hashtags illuminated timelines, and memes went viral. It was a full-fledged event, a cage match without ropes, a roast without laughter, and more than just a dispute. Every post added gasoline to the fire as fans joined in, hoping Tyrus would roar and Kimmel would stumble. The internet had front-row seats to the storm, and this had transcended comedy to become a digital spectacle.
Like 3 ex-lovers.
Yes.
Who just found out about each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all getting together to talk about the man they all still love.
Right.
And they're just sizing each other up, trying to figure out which one of us has the best shot to get back with him.
Yes.
They all get together, they compare notes, and they tell each other, yeah, you should never mention his name again. You should never mention his name again. You should never. Does he call you? Doesn't call me? He texted me last week. Oh, so I'm still in the game. That's all this was. That's just, and that's why nobody cared.
Wearing a Hollywood swagger and carrying a teleprompter loaded with rehashed one-liners, Kimmel made his dramatic debut. He was prepared to chuckle at everything but himself, the crowd applauding on cue, the arrogant smile, and the faux ease, all the same performance. However, Tyrus rushed in without any backup, script, or filter. He arrived prepared to shatter Hollywood's glossy exterior with grit, truth, and a verbal steel chair. He didn't need studio lights. You could practically hear egos breaking from Twitter to LA as it struck. Tyrus did more than simply criticize Kimmel. He destroyed the facade, revealing a performer who had been away from reality for a long time. The sincerity of Tyrus overshadowed Kimmel's moral satire. This was revelation, not rebellion, and Tyrus made sure that no one could turn away from it.
Oh, annoyed. All I had was a crisp 100. They had no change. I was like, what is this world coming to? That's why I'm moving to Italy, girl. I know, me too.
Great.
Like, it's just...
Can I say something, Greg?
Crossing guard goes,
How did you feel watching Kimmel cry?
oh, one of his tears fell. Hold on. You know, it's funny how this derangement's working, because it only seems to work if you have a camera in front of you.
Tyrus called it what it is, slicing right through the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. His goal was to demand honesty, not glory. At last, someone expressed what everyone has been thinking. Kimmel's interpretation of punching up is nothing more than a studio-based jab at regular folks. Imagine him claiming to speak for the public while sipping expensive wine on a set that has been sponsored. Because Tyrus was a man who achieved everything via hard work and determination rather than privilege or pretense, his remarks were powerful. He battled for his platform, and Kimmel was given it. All of a sudden, Kimmel's man-of-the-people persona became flimsy and quickly vanishing. When someone actually pushed back, the illusion broke. Really, it's poetic that a man who made a living by pulling practical jokes on people can't take a little reality from a cable commentator. He is the target of the joke this time.
About the ex-wife's club.
Yeah.
You know, they just sit around, be funny, or they're setting up for when they're all canceled, their tour.
Mm-hmm.
Their 3-man show.
Yes.
Come watch us say how much we hate the president. The funniest thing about this whole thing is they act like he got into the White House, and right as he got in, he's like, your list that you wrote for him, for people to go get. It's like, ICE, here they are, go round them up. No one gives a frog's fat ass what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because if they did, they would have stopped that podcast immediately.
Yes.
Then the supporters went crazy. Social media became a virtual arena, with one side yelling Tyrus's name as if he had physically assaulted Hollywood, while the other side frantically defended Kimmel by citing earlier footage of him when he was allegedly humorous. There weren't many to give away, but this was a cultural earthquake. Not just a couple of celebrities trading blows. Someone who disregarded Hollywood's well-polished rules had broken through the echo chamber of its pride. Tyrus snarled, "Try laughing at yourself for once," and seized Late Night by the collar. It's like asking a cat to surf, according to Kimmel. The cheers were sparked by enlightenment, not hatred. Tyrus revealed the cycle. Not just a comedian. The man who had once made fun of the powerful was now one of them, standing on a platform made of jokes about people he could no longer relate to. What about his moral compass? The next sponsor seems to spin it wherever they point.
Expected to walk into work, stepping over, crying, to your credit, libtards.
Yes.
Like, oh, excuse me, oh, tear.
Yeah.
There we go. But it wasn't. Everybody went back to their lives.
Yeah.
So apparently the only way this heartbreak works is if you film it or force someone else to film it.
Right.
But to your point about Carson, We never knew his political affiliation because he was there to make everyone laugh. All the late night shows.
Even Hollywood had to acknowledge that Tyrus might have been correct by this point. Watching the class clown realize that the joke had been turned against him was like that. Tyrus's call-out cut straight through Kimmel's bubble, which he had been living in for years, soaking up praise that was more false than his tan. Fans started drawing harsh comparisons between Tyrus's unadulterated fire and Kimmel's staged safety. "Hey Jimmy," some said.
Clown went all in on ignoring reality and blames MAGA.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
So MAGA is desperately trying to portray Kirk's killer as not one of them. If that man was any more full of shit, he'd be a colostomy bag. That was 2 days ago, so Kimmel had the chance to walk it back, but he can't.
Try preaching less and laughing more. When the internet detected weakness, it pounced. Memes flooded the internet more quickly than any joke Kimmel had told in years. Tyrus seized the entire narrative, not just the moment. Despite calling him bitter, Kimmel's supporters pointed out that the Emperor's lack of humor isn't a sign of bitterness, but rather of clarity. After Kimmel began reusing his jokes like old receipts, the audience stopped acting as though they were brand new.
Should be fired because it was such a big murderous election on one side that it should have been a reset. Because when it happened in 20, when he lost and Biden got in, I don't remember us doing an episode on coping skills. There was no line in the audience where I was like, "Thank you for coming. Thank you. We just like, well, let's keep going." And I believe we made fun of the situation and ourselves. So I always tell people, try to be the bigger man, which is ironic. But in this case, because the poor sportsmanship is coming from TV, normally I would say you can have one lap and smell your flowers, but go ahead and take.
The curtain separating advocacy and humor was lifted by this rivalry. Kimmel has been acting as though his jokes are revolutionary, but in reality, they merely serve to increase his ratings. Everyone was thinking the same thing as Tyrus said, "You're not a hero. You're performing for applause." Real comedy versus moral lectures turned into a contest for comedy's essence. Tyrus was a voice for those who would rather laugh than hear sermons. His message struck a deep chord. Comedy should be honest and not covert. Kimmel sought approval, but Tyrus thrived on truthfulness. Every staged grin and prepared retort simply served to highlight Kimmel's vulnerability. Tyrus served as a reminder of what comedy used to be: audacious, unvarnished, and fearless. Seeing him destroy Kimmel's moral compass was like severing power in a room filled with artificial light. Kimmel's routine was more subdued than ever, and the laughing felt genuine once more.